So, what are the activities that are included inside the test process? We have 7 major activities: test planning, test monitoring and control, test analysis, test design, test implementation, test execution, test completion. Each group of activity is composed of different activity that we will describe now. Most of the activity should have a sequential, but there are some overlap between these activities. They may happen iteratively. For example, in Agile has more iteration of software design, build and test. So while we are planning for something, we are completing another thing, we are executing something else and so on. Even in sequential model, there may be some overlap between these activities. First activity is test planning. Test planning consists of activity that define our project of testing and our approach that we will use to meet our objective. What are the test technique? What are the tasks we will use to meet these objectives to testing? The test plan are revisited or reviewed based on the feedback from monitoring that happened during the project. The second activity in the test process is test monitoring and control. Test monitoring is the ongoing comparison of actual progress against the test plan. So we wrote test plan which include some objective and there is actual progress while we are working in our project. We should compare them and check, are we following the plan or are we late of it. Then after monitoring, we show test control. Test control means that we take some necessary action to meet the objective of the test plan. Test monitoring and control should be supportive and exit criteria. Exit criteria are some good that we should achieve. In Agile, we call exit criteria definition of done, DOD. For example, how do we evaluate the exit criteria for the test execution so that we can monitor it? We can check the result and logs against our coverage criteria. We can access our component or system quality based on the test result and logs. We should determine if we need more testing because our test failed to meet our objective or not. These are the criteria that we need to follow. The next activity in the test process is test analysis. In test analysis, we analyze the test basis so that we can identify the testable features. For example, we read the requirement and analyze it. So we know the feature that we can perform testing on them and we define the test condition for these features. The test condition are what to test. So the test analysis answer the question what to test. What are the things that we need to test? The login page, the register, logout, forget password and so on. So these are the test conditions of our project. We talk about the test analysis activity. We analyze the test basis appropriate to the test level. For example, we can analyze the requirement like business requirement, functional requirement, system requirement, user story, user case, and so on. We can analyze the implementation information like software architecture, design, and any work product that talking about the design. Then we can analyze also the implementation of the system itself, like the code, database, the queries, and interfaces. And we can analyze the risk analysis report, which includes functional and non-functional risk. Second activity in the test analysis is that to evaluate the test basis and test item so that we can find any defect item like ambiguities, omissions, inconsistencies, inaccuracies, contradictions, superfluous statements, which means something that we don't need and is written, so we should remove it or delete it. We can identify features that need to be tested. We define and prioritize that condition for our features. Bidirectional traceability between the each element of the test basis and associated test condition. Analysis, we should use black box, white box, and experience-based technology which will help me in the test analysis and defining the test condition that we will create. In some cases like the agile test case gives us the test condition like we said, but we use them to write the test characters. The test character are the document that we use in experience-based testing. Test analysis, you should find some defect in the document that you are analyzing, especially if there is no review process in our organization. So in this analysis, we verify the requirement and make sure that they are consistent, that they are properly expressed and complete. And also we make sure that requirement capture customer, user, and other stakeholders needs. We can use some techniques like behavior driven development BDD and the acceptance test driven development ATDD, in which we generate the test condition and test case from the user stories before writing the code. These techniques are also agile techniques. So we will not talk a lot about them. They are not part of the ISTQB foundation level. The next activity is test design. In test design, we convert our test condition to high level test cases. We said that test analysis answer the question what to test. Test design answer the question how to test. How will we test the thing that we identified? The test design activity. So we design and prioritize the test cases. We identify the test data that we need to support the test cases. We design the test environment and the tools. We also capture bidirectional creating test cases. From the test condition, we can use test technique. Also in test design, we may find some defect in the test basis and we should identify them and report them. Then we have test implementation. In test implementation, we create all the testware that we need. The testware is like the software, any software that we will testing. So we make sure that all our testware that we need for test execution is created and completed, including our test cases and sequence of them, which is the test procedure. So we said that the test design answer the question how to test, while test implementation answer the question do we now have everything in place to run the test? Is everything ready that we run our testing? So these are the test implementation activity. We develop and prioritize test procedure. If we are using automation testing, we create automated test script. We create test suites from the test procedure. That suits like we have login shooter, for example 3 procedure. Each procedure of them consists of some cases. Then we arrange the test suites within the test execution. We build the test environment. If we need a simulator, we should build it. We prepare the test data and ensure that it is loaded in the test environment. Of course, we verify and update the bidirectional traceability between the test basis, the test condition, test cases, test procedure, and the test suits. Sometimes the design and the implementation tasks are combined at the same time. Exploratory testing and experience testing, test design and implementation may be run at the same time and the part of the test execution. Test execution. The next activity is test execution. In test execution, we run test suits in accordance with the test execution schedule. So what are the test execution activity? We record the ID and the version of our test item. So if we are testing an Android mobile, we should record the version of the Android. If we are testing web browser like Google Chrome, we should record the version of it and so on. We execute the testing either manually or by using the test execution tools to make it. We compare actual result with our expected result. Anything that it is different from the expected result, and then we report defect based on these things. First, we log outcome of the test execution. We repeat the test activity after finding defects. For example, we found a defect. The developer solved the defect. Do comparison. We should do confirmation testing or retesting to make sure that the defect is solved. Lastly, we verify and update the bidirectional traceability between the test basis, test condition, test cases, test procedure, and test results. Now we are ready to perform test completion. Test completion activity collect data from the test activity so that we gain experience from our project. Test completion does not happen at the end of the project. It happens at the project milestone. Like we release our system when the project is completed or cancelled. Project iteration is finished. A test level is completed or a maintenance release has been completed. So this completion happen many times in our project. Activity that happen in test completion. Checking whether all defect reports are closed. We need to make sure that all defects are solved and things that need to be run. Data we record as it change request. We create a test summary report and deliver it to the stakeholder. We finalize and achieve our test object, the test data and anything so that we can use them later in our project. We handing over the testware to maintenance team and the project team so that they can use it later if they want to. Lesson that we learn so that we perform better in the future. We use the information that we gathered to improve the test process maturity. That's all for today. If you have any doubt from this session, please comment below. Thank you.